one of the questions that I'm going to ask you when we get back is, why did I share this video? So be ready to answer that question. Share computer sound, screen, share. And let's go back to the beginning. And here we go.
Every successful person in this world has jumped. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you are waking up thinking that there's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump. Now, I'll tell you why I call it jumping. See, God, when he created all of us, he gave every last one of us a gift at birth. He never created a soul without endowing them with a gift. You just got to quit looking at gifts as running, jumping, singing, and dancing. It's more than that. It's if you know how to network, if you can connect dots, if you draw, if you teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else, bake pie. Some of you cut hair, color hair. Some people do grass. I got a partner, man, never wanted to go out with us because we stayed out too late. Come on, man, go out with now. I got to get up early, mom, cutting Miss Johnson's grass. We kept laughing at this dude, cutting grass. How much they pay you? He got a landscaping company in Cleveland worth $4 million. Because all he do is cut grass, but he was gifted at it. I got a partner on a detail shop, make $800,000 a year detailing cars. He got 6 mobile trucks running around. $800,000 a year. All he do is detail cars. That's his gift. That's what he loved to do. You've got to identify that gift. Now listen to me. When you see people in life, when you're standing on the cliff of life and you see people soaring by, you hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year, every 2 years. You know, how is he doing that? Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? Because your Bible says, your Bible says your gift will make room for you. Your gift, not your education. You go get an education, that's nice. But if you don't use your gift, that education only gonna take you so far. I know a lot of people got degrees, man, they ain't even using it. It's your gift. But the only way for you to soar is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord. That gift opens up and provides the soar. If you don't ever use it, you're gonna just go to work. And if you're getting up going to work on a job every day that you hate going to, that ain't living, man. You just existed. At one point in time, you ought to see what living's like. But the only way to see what living like, you gotta jump. And here's the problem. I'm gonna just be real with you. When you first jump, let me tell you something. Your parachute will not open right away. You're gonna hit them rocks. You're gonna get some skin tore off on them cliffs. You're gonna get all your clothes tore off. You're gonna get some cuts on you. You're gonna be bleeding pretty bad. But eventually, the parachute has to open. That is a promise of God. That ain't a theory, that's a promise. His promises is true, because listen to me. You cannot name one single thing God has not gotten you through. Name it. And if he ain't got you through it, he currently pulling you through it right now. And the living proof of it is you sitting in here. If he hadn't got you through it, you wouldn't even be here. So if he ain't never not got you through it, why would he not let your parachute open? It has to open, man. You can play it safe and deal without the cuts and the tears. And you can stand on that cliff of life forever safe. But if you don't jump, I got another promise I can make you. Your parachute will never open. You'll never know. You'll never know what God really has for you. See, your God has a wonderful life for you. Once again, I'm going to refer to your Bible. Now, you go down there, you memorize these scriptures, you don't apply them to yourself. Your Bible says that he comes to give you life and give you life more abundantly. If I were you, I would jump, because that's the only way to get to that abundant life. You got to jump, man. You got to take a chance. Now, when I get through talking, there are those of you who discuss this in the car. Well, I got bills, and I got bills. Whether you stay on the cliff or you jump, you're gonna have bills. Well, if I quit my job, I'm gonna ruin my credit. If you got a job, you living check to check. Even if you got A1 credit, you can't buy nothing else no damn way. At one point in time, man, do yourself a favor. Go see what God really do. God hold you up, man. He ain't gonna let you fall. He ain't bring you this far, let you fall. Do yourself a favor, man. Before you leave this world, before you die, jump. Just jump one time. Just jump. Thank you very much.
Great way to start the day, right, guys? Talk to me.
I think a lot of us don't jump.
Absolutely stunning. I follow Steve Harvey.
Corey, go say that again, please.
I think Natalie had something. Go ahead, Natalie.
Now, Natalie, sorry.
I'm sorry. I think
No.
all of us are scared to jump. We don't know what our gifts are, and we stay stuck, unfortunately. You know?
I agree. And I think that's something that we deal with throughout our lives, Natalie. In other words, we conquer fear today only to eventually end up in complacency, and we're afraid to jump again.
And I like the way you said that. Don't worry about your credit. Don't worry about different things. Do what you know your gift is, and you'll live a better life. I agree with that.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, your passion. It's kind of like following your passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think and the other thing, I think a lot of people don't even know, they don't see themselves, like even myself, I don't see myself the way other people see me, because I'm uberly critical of myself. So to even know what your gift is very hard to find, right? So to focus on what your gift is, finding that can be very difficult.
I agree. I agree. And you, Heather, have a lot of gifts. You change lives. The world is better because you're here. People who are in business with you are better because you are a part of their life. Maybe that's your gift, is changing other people's lives. Your husband is nodding his head. He agrees.
Thank you.
Yes. So in 2015, I decided to become a team leader, and it was May 18th, actually, that I accepted the role to become the team leader in Coral Springs. And in doing that, I was getting out of my role as rainmaker for the Dietz team. I was essentially shutting down the Dietz team, and eventually did, moving my family across the state, accepting a job that was going to pay me less than 10% of what I made the previous year selling real estate. And it was scary. It was really scary. And I had to jump. Now, when we make a decision to pursue a big goal, we're going to go through 4 C's. And I just want to share my screen with you. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to write down 4 different words. And I'm just going to simply ask you, what do you think comes first? All right. So commitment. And I'm not writing these in any order. I'm kind of writing them all over the place on purpose because I don't want you to think I'm doing this in order. Confidence and capability. What comes first?
Courage.
Okay. Anyone else?
Commitment.
Commitment. Okay. So Linda McKissick shares an exercise called the 4 C's exercise, and here's what this looks like. And Kim, thank you for jumping in there. Please continue to jump in, and it's commitment. So I would have said courage too, by the way. However, if we wait until we have the courage to do something, we're not going to do it. We have to have the commitment has to come first. That's jump. That's standing on the ledge and deciding that I'm going to jump. I'm scared to death and I'm going to jump anyways. Actually, the way Linda puts it is it has to be big enough that it scares the tar out of you. So whatever it is you're committing to is creating massive fear. And again, in Linda McKissick's words, you've got to be so committed to this and it scares you at such a high level that it makes you want to pee your pants. That's fear. And jumping, moving forward, creates courage. You don't get the courage first. The courage actually comes as a result of making the commitment. And courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward in spite of fear. Fear is the opposite of faith. Faith is the opposite of fear. However, faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is having fear and going forward anyways. Now, as we continue to move through these 4 C's, the next step is we start to create credentials and capability. We're starting to develop skill that's creating the capability in order to do whatever it is that we want to do. And that creates confidence. Now, here's the danger zone. The danger zone is if we stop here, we're eventually going to move into a 5th C, which is complacency. And complacency is dangerous. This is where we begin to move backwards. We're either growing or we're dying. This is dying. And what every successful entrepreneur knows, what every successful business owner knows, is that once they've arrived here, their next job is to find their next commitment. What is the next big rock that they are going to pursue? What is it that is going to be so big that it would create fear? It would be Corey and Heather deciding that they're going to take their $40 million a year team, their $50 million a year team, and they're going to expand across the country. They're going to start placing expansion partners in Atlanta, Charlotte, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, and they're going to hire a CEO who's going to overlook their expansion operation. That's going to create fear. That is going to take a huge commitment. And I'm not suggesting that they do that. It's just an example. What's your next commitment? Where are you on this path? If you're in the beginning stages, you might be here. And wherever you are on this path, here's what I want you to hear. When you get to this point, don't end up in complacency, because when you end up in complacency, you're moving backwards. All right, Tell me what you heard. What are your thoughts? What are your ahas, questions?
Keep pushing.
Always. Here's another thought for you. There is no finish line. If you haven't read Simon Sinek's book, The Infinite Game, read that book.
Mm-hmm. Constant growth.
Yeah. This is not a game that can be won.
Wow.
I feel like I'm always on the edge, John.
Yeah?
Always.
Talk to me. Tell me what you mean.
Fear. You know, I've had failure in my life
Me too.
financially.
Me
You
too.
know?
Me too. Yep. Me too.
You know, 2018 wrote off $2 million.
Yep.
A lot of money lost.
Yep.
So I'm fear. I don't get tired of working. I mean, some days I get tired, but I'm always on the edge. Always. Because I'm extremely. I fear failure. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Corey, I get it. I do.
Yeah.
I grew up very poor
Mhm.
and I hated it. I absolutely hated poverty.
Right.
I was one of 4 children in an 800 square foot house with 2 bedrooms, 1 bath,
Mhm.
no air conditioning in Florida. It's hot. And I hated it.
Mhm.
By the time I was 18 years old and leaving for college, I knew that I never, ever wanted to experience that again. And I had a burning desire in my gut to create a life that would enable me to never live the life that I did growing up.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you guys have heard me share this before. I made some really bad decisions and lost about $500,000 in less than a year with 3 bad decisions in 2008. And it took me 7 years to dig out of that hole. And just as I was digging out of that hole, we were faced with adversity again, except this time it's health crisis and it's my daughter, which led to economic crisis. Sound familiar? The world we're living in today, guys. That was a personal health crisis for me and my family, not the world. That led to an economic crisis for me and my family. And I lost everything. Everything. For 4 years, we lived in a house that I'm talking to you from with 1 couch and a TV because that's all we could afford. It was 4 years before we could put furniture in the house.
Wow.
And when we finally bought furniture and I'm walking in, I'm like, oh my God, we have furniture. I felt rich. I'm never going to feel that way again. Never. I'm like Corey. I'm afraid to go back there. And then at the same time, I have faith that I'm not on this journey alone.
But I think that's what motivates, like, try being married to Corey, right? Like, that's what motivates everyone, including myself, and I mean pushes you to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So when you find a mentor that does that, like you're mentoring all these people, it is the push, the fact that you show up every single day that pushes us, or your loss that pushes us to be better every day.
Yeah. Heather, I agree. Monica would tell you it's an obsession.
Mm-hmm. Corey's an obsession too.
She would tell you I'm obsessed with success.
Yeah.
She's right. I am.
Mm-hmm. But it pushes us so much. I mean, Corey has pushed me so much further than I think I would have ever done alone. Right? So
Love that.
it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Yeah.
And it's a decision. Either you crumble because of the market, what's going on right now here in the marketplace, or you can get up and send out a group me message every single day to my team, make it happen. It's all a decision. It's all a choice.
Birds of a feather flock together, right? That's the saying. Birds of a feather flock together. So
Yeah.
have a good flock.
Yes. 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 And Corey, I would tell you, and Heather, I would say everything is a decision. Everything. I tell my agents every day when I'm coaching them that success is a decision. Now, here's the scary thing, guys. If success is a choice, and I believe it is, and anybody who doesn't believe me, who disagrees with me, let's talk, because I'll convince you I'm right, I promise. I believe that success is a choice. And if success is a choice, so is failure. Why would you choose to fail? It's a choice. To not do something is a choice. To not do something is action. It's just the wrong freaking action. Nadine, I know you want to say something. I can tell by the way you're looking at me.
Well, I was late to the call because and talking about fear, I was turning down a piece of business right before I got on the call, and I was trying to get off that call, and it was just simply working with, it was a sign call, and wanted to see property, and cash buyer, blah blah blah, and I'm in a very fearful place right now, and I don't want to go sound like a victim, because I'm not. I don't feel like a victim. I'm just saying the situation is thus. I lost all, 3 deals, which was basically my income for the next 3 months. So just a lot of other people, same situation or worse.
Yeah.
And I'm doing everything I can to pay my rent right now. And I had this conversation with this person who normally, part of me wanted to jump and just take her out and show her stuff. And I actually had to say, well, I need you to send me something with proof of funds. And, and she was like giving me a whole story. And I had to say, you know what, I have a standard. And and she said, I can't do anything for at least 90 days. And I said, okay, so I'm going to just send you properties then. I'm not going to take you out until you're going to be ready to close something. And it was all about, I've got a home in the Hamptons, and it's going to sell. And when it sells, I'm going to be buying cash. I said, that's great. When you're under contract, we'll get back in touch. I'm going to stay in touch with you. And it was turning down business because my gut, and I don't know if I was too judgy. Okay. Part of me wanted to jump, and part of me wanted to stick to my standard of you need to give me something before I'm going to go out there and risk a situation that I don't necessarily think is safe. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here.
So here's an exercise for you, and thank you for being transparent. I appreciate that. I promise you're not the only one on the call who's going through this. I promise. And know that you are on a journey, and you can only see what's directly in front of you, right? In other words, what's going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. I really don't. Neither do you.
Right.
You can only deal with what is directly in front of you.
Right.
So when it comes to the conversation around future business, paying your bills, paying your rent, are you going to have enough money to be able to provide for yourself? How long is this health crisis going to last? What kind of economic crisis are we facing? How is this going to affect the real estate business? What does that mean to you and your ability to provide for yourself, and on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, the only thing you can deal with right now is what is immediately in front of you. And
Right.
what's immediately in front of you is the opportunity to do everything you can today in order to create opportunity for tomorrow. And at the end of the day, as long as you've done all you can do, then you've done enough. And stay focused on what you have control of. That's how many people you talk to today.
Right.
That's the conversations that you have. What you have control of is the questions that you ask. What you have control of is the relationships that you build. What you have control of is how you respond to rejection. That's what you control. That's what's immediately in front of you. Now, when you get outside your headlights, in other words, you're driving through a dark, scary desert, and you get outside your headlights into the dark, scary night, and you can't see anything. Your hand in front of your face, you can't see it. That is fear. That is paralyzing fear, and it will paralyze you. It'll cause you to not do what you can do. You will absolutely stop deer in the headlights, paralyzed. And when you when you feel that you're doing that, get back in your headlights.
Right. So I was with this situation, like we're talking about fear and faith, and part of me is having faith that things are going to be okay because I know I'm creating business and I'm like, picking up leads.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have faith that that's happening, and the fear is that I feel like I'm judging every single decision I make. Like that decision normally in a typical market would have been next, on to the next one. And I'm questioning it a lot. I'm questioning everything I do right now. I feel like I'm doing the actions, but I'm just questioning everything.
Okay. So more conversations.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's why Gary teaches in Shift that we have to double down on our lead generation. So the answer is more conversations.
Got it.
You'll create the opportunity. It's out there waiting for you.
Yeah.
I promise you it is. And if you could go up 1,000 miles in the sky and look down and look at life the way God looks at life and be outside of time, I can promise you there's a finish line where you break through this ceiling and you're already there. Now, if you can get your mindset around that and have faith to the point where you believe that you're already there, then there's nothing to be afraid of.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, talk to me.
You made me realize I'm complacent and I'm going backwards. So thank you for that. You really did. I was thinking that a couple days ago, and then this morning when I saw a food drive, I was thinking about some stuff, and you made me realize I'm complacent. So I need to find a new commitment.
Yeah. Well, Natalie, I did that. If I'm being brutally honest, I got complacent in my team leader role in 2019, beginning of the year. We had come off 3 incredible years, record-breaking years, and we had started 2019 on fire, and I got complacent. And because of that, we went backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Got to think about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anybody else before we close the call, guys? It's 10 o'clock. Tell me what you heard. What are your ahas? What are you going to do different?
Double down on everything.
Yeah. People are out there waiting for you. Get on the call. Make those calls.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, Corey. It's my pleasure. It's my
Natalie,
pleasure.
we're not complacent. We're going to fix that.
Yeah, there you go. Love
yeah,
that.
we need to, man. I just telling you, I figured that out.
I'll call you right after your appointment. We're fixing that, dude.
Love it. All right, guys. Today begins Bold Pivot. I'm excited. Look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow morning at 9:30. Go make it a great day.
All right, bye.